In 1995, South Africa hosted the Rugby World Cup. This was the third ever Rugby World Cup and the first in which all matches were played in one country. The 1995 Rugby World Cup was the first major sporting event in South Africa after apartheid. Apartheid was racial segregation in South Africa in which blacks were discriminated and lost political status in government.
The finals, South Africa vs. New Zealand, was played in Ellis Park Stadium, Johannesburg. Only 1 year after the end of apartheid, Nelson Mandela arrived at the stadium in a Springbok uniform and cap. The Springboks were South Africa's national rugby union team. They were all white, with the exception of one black player, and were a symbol of apartheid and oppression.
Nelson Mandela was South Africa's first black president. Mandela's job was to unite a nation that was on the brink of civil war. The nation could have become a bloodbath with thousands of white military-trained Afrikaners angry with the black majority's new representation in government. Mandela was a former prisoner before becoming president and was seen by white people as a terrorist of the government.
Every time a commentary from the prison guard's radio echoed around his tiny Robben Island cell, Nelson Mandela willed the Springboks to lose. To all black South Africans, nothing symbolised the evil of apartheid more than the Springboks.
South Africa crossed New Zealand's line for the first time in the Test series.
Astonishing then that President Mandela would wear the uniform of the enemy, knowing the world was watching and his people would be judging him. This was so much more than shrewd public relations theatre. It was a huge political gamble. Shortly before kick-off, Mandela visited the home dressing room. His impact on the players was life-changing.
He walked in and he had a Springbok on his heart. It was incredible. It became incredibly emotional. And he just said, good luck, play well. And he turned around and my number was on his back. That was me, you know, I would run through walls. I would play until I can't play. They would have to absolutely scrape me off the field.
But would the only black player in the Springboks side be as comfortable with Mandela's gesture?
Seeing that he's wearing our rugby jersey and going on the stadium, the people just got mad seeing Nelson Mandela walk on the field with the Springbok rugby jersey. And for us to run on the field, seeing him as well, supporting us, it was just massive for us.
Instinctively, the almost exclusively white crowd responded to Mandela's public statement of forgiveness by chanting his name. His risk was already paying political dividends.
He said, I understand fully and totally how important rugby is to the Afrikaner, how important is the Springbok emblem to the Afrikaner. And because of their support for me as the first ever black president, that's why I went out to support the Springbok emblem.
This is it! This is our destiny!
Hollywood based the movie Invictus around this defining day in Mandela's presidency, the story of how one bold decision disarmed the threat of a right-wing terrorist backlash against the birth of a new multiracial government.
Mandela, showing the sort of lateral thinking, political lateral thinking that characterized him, saw here an opportunity to actually unite the nation, and what he effectively ended up doing with the Rugby World Cup was transforming this symbol of division and oppression that the Springbok emblem was into an instrument of unity and reconciliation.
It was a memorable African afternoon.
Francois, and then we had 65,000 South Africans here today. Tremendous support.
David, we didn't have 60,000 South Africans. We had 43 million South Africans.
The president to the captain.
A moment that helped shape a new rainbow nation. A moment crafted by the charisma, the dignity, and the understated genius of one very special man.
South Africa won the championship game by a score of 15-12. Nelson Mandela presented the Webbs Ellis Cup to the captain of the Springboks. He wore the Springbok uniform and cap while presenting the trophy.
The Springbok jersey was sacred to white Afrikaners and hated by all of the black majorities. Many people saw the jersey as a symbol of apartheid and was regarded as the reason why Nelson Mandela was imprisoned.
During the post-game celebrations, 65,000 white rugby fans chanted Nelson. The chants of joy defined South Africa's change from apartheid to a multiracial democracy. 5 years after the match, Mandela said, "Sport has the power to change the world."
This event is seen as one of the greatest accomplishments of a sport uniting a nation. This event opened new doors for many races in South African government and put everyone on the same page for the new democracy that was put in place.